All right, Brandon Muse, Cannabis Anarchist News. We have my mom here. So if anybody got a problem with me, too bad. She's responsible. So what we're doing here, and the idea is to get some recorded interviews or just some basically people's attention to medicinal cannabis. The whys and the hows and all of that, but I guess the real mitigating factor is personal stories, personal needs, because that's what it's about. It's about a plant and not what is going on right now. So, without further ado, Julie Braun, my mom. So, what's your condition and when did you learn about cannabis and from who?
Well, you really led me to the information, and almost bombarded me with it. And for so long, I didn't really want to read about it. I mean, I know I did learn, the difference between marijuana and cannabis.
Which
and
is
it's a difference in the name.
Name only. Marijuana was a derogatory racial term coined by Hearst Media in the early 1900s to sway popular opinion against hemp cannabis because they're one and the same. We were discussing the illegal version cannabis as a medicinal, nutritional, and otherwise all around staple. So years and years I had to beat it into you, and then finally, obviously, just because of education, self-education, what's your problem? What is it that, you know what I mean? Tell me the issues and the medications that could be replaced as far as you know by cannabis.
Yes, that's why I really want to help with this issue, because it'll help me, it'll help you, and it'll help a lot of you out there too, I believe, because I do believe in natural alternatives. I'm a very healthy person other than a genetic spine disease that I've had all my life and has gotten so bad to the point now where I'm unable to work. As of, this last June, it's been a year that I had to stop working, which just was a horrible thing for me to go through, as you know, and I'm still dealing with the grieving of that. I mean, when you love your work, that's part of me.
Right.
And I've lost so much of me with this disease, or, I perceive that I have, so I'm working on that. But so it's a genetic spine disease that was found finally by a spine specialist that I went to see through MRI. Was found, so basically my whole spine is affected, from neck to tail. I have all degenerated discs bulging, and then also the vertebrae. It also affects the bone, and it's deteriorating as well. I have a fissure, I have the scoliosis, I have a lot of nerve impingements, so I have constant nerve pain and muscle spasms, and not just a little muscle spasm. We're talking, how they do. I mean, they just tighten up and they clamp down on the nerves because there's no healthy disc there to protect. And then they tighten up and wrap around my ribs and even take my breath away. So my vertical time, has been very limited, because unless I'm horizontal, I'm like a car without any shocks.
Right.
So we're talking pain that takes your breath away. I did natural birth, with you and all my children. I have 3. I believed that was the healthiest way to do it. I didn't want to, affect them while they were working hard trying to come out into this world too. So, I know pain. And so I had to give in and start using medications, and I didn't want to do that. I fought really hard. I tried all kinds of herbs and, all kinds of natural alternatives, um, chiropractic for 20 years, um, all of that. So now what I'm having is put into my body, which you were asking me to get into, is I am on the fentanyl patch. It's 50 micrograms per hour of fentanyl delivered into my body. It's 24/7 pain relief, because otherwise I wake up in the morning and I'm crying, from the pain. And so I've got that going into me now. Lyrica, 300 milligrams a day, 100 milligrams, 3 times a day. Flexerol, 50. I forget the dose, but it's a very heavy dose. Makes me slur my words, but that's really, slowing down the muscle spasms to a more tolerable level. But with all of that going into me, there's more too. I know I'm missing something. Anyway, that's just to help me be up in vertical more. Instead of 80% down, 20% up, I can usually flip-flop that now, but I still have days with all of this that I'm doing to my body. I'm still, every now and then just the wrong move, and and I can't do anything. I need help to get horizontal again. And then I'm down for days sometimes because it's pressing on the nerves so badly I can't even get up to go to the bathroom.
So, your other option was a morphine pump.
Yes.
A while back, right?
That was the first, when I saw a pain specialist, that was the first thing that he suggested, because with this level of pain, that's what he suggested.
And that's kind of around the time that I started. How happy was I when you first started trying cannabis and trying cannabis oil?
Yeah, you were happy, and I did try it, and I have to say.
What was the effect, effectually, how did you feel? How did it do pain management and things like that, as far as those are concerned?
I was amazed.
Because right now you're not.
No, because I did try it, and I was amazed at the effectiveness of it, but I'm not comfortable
with the legalities.
Doing that. Yes, I mean, I just need, I've never been in jail, and I don't want to be in jail. I wouldn't.
And that's the unfortunate, and that's the whole point of this, is because so many people don't know, strictly because it's against the law. They're afraid to even look at it, and when people tell them about it, unfortunately, they have the predisposed disposition against it because of the reefer madness age, and we're still living in that, even
now.
And we literally have all the world's information at our fingertips.
I know. I was just blown away with the information that you sent to me, where I saw that more than 2 decades of documented clinical documentation proving, the effectiveness of killing the cancer, the very severe chronic pain like I have and you have, taking care of that. And what's so beautiful is that this is a plant that grows out of our earth, and so you can juice it. One of the stories that I read that just really amazed me, because it's right down my alley, is a woman who had lupus. Young woman with young kids, and her lupus had gotten to the point where she was bedridden. She couldn't even play with her children. And so that was introduced to her by a friend who cared enough to introduce it, and she started juicing it. And within 6 months' time, she was off all of the 30 medications that she was taking. Wow. I mean, that's one of the facts that I can still remember. And that's the thing with the medications that I'm on. They're not regenerating like cannabis. I thank my doctor. I thank God that
they're doing the best they can.
Exactly.
Legally, they're bound to.
Yeah. So I don't.
Unfortunately, the law and the pharmaceutical companies, they are like anybody else. They want to fix you up,
So we don't want to blame our doctors for just giving us drugs. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. Whose fault is it? I think the people who have the ability. It's the people that we put into office. We're paying their wages to help take care of us. And so I guess my question to them is, why don't you let us have the freedom to choose our health care? I want to choose. So right now I'm taking something, the medications that are killing my
they could kill
brain
you.
synapses.
Wasn't that one? There's
The Lyrica especially.
Yeah, and the patch, if it gets too hot, I mean, that's the problem. I mean, that's the line for me is that you cannot die from cannabis. Your brain produces cannabinoids,
And I am
endocannabinoid
going to
deficiency.
die from these medications eventually
Yep.
because
Most people do, yeah.
right, because of just how these work in our bodies, we have to keep upping the dosages of these medications because our bodies get so
They
just
shut
a
down
little too
they
comfortable
offset
with
the dopamine
Exactly.
transactions. Yep, yep.
so
So they're fighting it now. They're pushing to get legislation, and that's kind of the key here. Is the demographic that I'm targeting here is the average person, the average everyday individual that just doesn't know or just doesn't realize because for over 10,000 years, documented 10,000 years, we've been using it in textile and health and nutritionally. It's your body literally produces endocannabinoids, and we're
Right.
taking in and we're discussing exocannabinoids. They're the same thing. So I
that
guess
was
that's
also a great fact that you delivered to me, and because I worked in healthcare, for 16 years. I like to work on facts. I don't like to work on, someone said this, and so
supposition and,
yeah,
anecdotal
more
stuff.
fact
Yeah,
oriented,
yeah.
and I like information. But so if everyone would be a little more information oriented, open your mind and just read the information, and then see for yourself, and then make your decision. Though don't let others tell you.
I tell everybody to
That's
prove
bad.
me wrong,
Right, yes.
because then you have to go through the information to do so, and by
Right.
doing that, you will find that I don't know everything, but what I know already is that I've helped people with get going with cannabis extracts and with cannabis alone and they said, you helped me. That was it. I mean, that's the bottom line. When I see kids with these severe seizures, Dravet's, and so on, that within minutes, I mean, some of them seconds
I've
from delivery of
seen
the medication,
videos.
they are, and it's not something they can tell you. You see the physicality of it metered out, and I know because of my hypervigilance and borderline anxiety at times that's exactly what it does for me. It acts as an antipsychotic, which is what would, if I were to go to a medical professional and say, well, these are my symptomatic or physiological symptoms, and they would say, that's what they've told me for years now, that you have anxiety, that you should be medicated, and and anybody that I talk to, because currently I'm not on an oil regimen, but I smoke cannabis, and that is enough to maintain. But everybody that knew me over the period of months there where I was ingesting large amounts of high doses of extracted oil, all said that was the calmest and most peaceful and happy they've ever seen me. I like to keep my artistic edge, so I don't like to. And that's the thing, is over medicating or medicating, it's all nutritional. I mean, so the bottom line is that we're always going to medicate. If you eat a banana, it's medicating because it's good for you. It carries information, and that's really
True.
all we're discussing here is information.
The other thing with you is that you also have a lot of nerve pain in your legs because, I don't know if you're going to get somewhere on here and get your story in there, but I mean, Brandon also has an amazing story. about what happened with him, and I'll let him tell his story. And I could help along with that too, because I spent 3 long months with him in ICU. But so you're dealing with pain, and let's get back to anxiety. We are going to have anxiety when we hurt so badly and we don't get relief from that pain. Your anxiety level, of course, is going to go, skyrocketing, because, I mean, try to imagine, if you're not someone who deals with chronic pain, try to imagine, think of mothers, okay? Anyone who remembers that, pain-free childbirth experience, that pain. Men, if you've ever passed
Kidney stone.
right, that's supposedly
Or a
the same
toothache. I mean, a
amount of-
toothache. If you get an
Yes.
abscessed tooth, and I try to relate that to people, that you'll never understand unless you know that level of pain, how it happens, how you end up with drug abuse issues and things like that. Because whether your
You
pain
just
is a
need to get away.
physiological, directly caused by a physical thing, a tooth or childbirth or whatever, or it's a emotional or an anxiety, or it's a mentally induced. When that pain stops, there's no comparison to it. And most people, that's all they want, is for it to stop. That
Yes.
feeling of relief when you know that the pain is stopped. But with pharmaceuticals, you don't get that sustenance, that maintaining.
No.
It goes right from, even if you get that, I've never had any luck whatsoever with pharmaceuticals, opiates, neuroblockers, or any of them that they've given me over the years. And they've prescribed plenty, and I just never, it all led to the desire to overuse and to abuse it, because you miss that part where the pain comes back, and then it just humps right over that relief point to where you're out of your mind. Whether it's you're overusing or you're under, you're not getting the pain relief, whatever it's from.
So I think that we need our lawmakers to have a lot more empathy, whether or not you as a lawmaker has chronic pain issues, or know someone who's dying. I mean, any of these issues that we're talking about, a child who suffers through seizures, hundreds of seizures every day, you see how they suffer.
Or cancer, or irradiating
Yes,
babies
so many.
is
I mean,
I would
name
much
it.
rather them try something more obviously useful and sustainable. But that's what we're doing this for. We'll get back on task here and wrap up. I think we got enough of the story to roll here, and so we're basically, my take on it, being an anarchist, is do what you got to do. It's a plant. You have rights as an individual. Not everybody's an anarchist, and I'm glad for that. But we need to educate ourselves and each other, because I don't know everything. Mom doesn't know everything. Nobody knows everything, but together we can really help each other get a couple things figured out. And all right, let's do a quick wrap up here. Educate each other, find out what cannabis can do and can't do.
And lawmakers, please have mercy and compassion on those of us who are dealing with these issues, and we're asking you to help us get this legalized so that we can make the choice to use our medicine.
Do it!